Namaste yogis, welcome to your yoga practice. My name is Sierra and I'm very excited to guide you through a beginner's restorative yoga class today. So restorative yoga is a lot different than traditional vinyasa or the more active, commonly practiced yogas that you might be familiar with. With restorative yoga, we're going to use lots of props and we're going to spend about 5 minutes in each pose. So this is a really great practice if you've had a long day, you just want to relax and unwind, or if you're feeling anxious, or maybe if you're holding lots of tension and stress in your hips and shoulders and things like that. So I'm very grateful to Oko Living for supplying all of the yoga props we're going to use today. If you don't have your own props, you can make do with blankets that you have around the house, maybe some bed pillows, some books in place of blocks. You really don't have to have lots of fancy props to do a practice like this, though it definitely helps. For my practice today, I'm going to use 2 bolsters, 2 blocks, and 1 blanket. So I'll let you take a little bit of time to gather your materials and set up for your practice. And one more thing, I want you to set up close to a wall or nearby one. We're going to eventually take supported legs up the wall, so if you can get yourself close to the wall now, that means you won't have to worry about scooching over later. So, all right, whenever you're ready, let's get started. So we're going to start in a supported child's pose here. I want you to take your bolster, place it lengthwise in front of you, nestling the bolster in between your thighs, and then coming to lay down on your belly. Just take one cheek to the mat. It doesn't matter which one. We're going to switch about halfway through, allowing yourself to settle down here. And if you find that the bolster is too far away, you need a little bit of extra support, if your hips are really tight, you can elevate your bolster on your blocks to help bring it a little bit closer to you. This will help ease some of the strain in your hips if you're feeling a little extra tight today. You'll just lift the bolster up on the blocks and then lay down. So take a moment here, find the position that feels most comfortable for you. And we will get started in our supported child's pose. So just closing the eyes here. Beginning to take some deep breaths. Allowing the body to grow heavy. Bringing your inhales all the way down into the base of your belly, inhaling nice and deep. And exhale, releasing all of the air through your mouth. Just softening here, arriving to your practice through your breath. And we'll just gently switch the gaze here. Take your opposite cheek to the bolster, staying in your child's pose for 2 more minutes. we'll slowly begin to lift up here. Walking your hands back in towards your knees. Bringing your hips on top of your heels. Taking a breath here. Moving really slowly both in and out of these poses today. Now we're going to take supported butterfly. You can keep your bolster where it is, maybe just scooch it back on the mat a little bit. You're going to come to sit at the short base of your bolster so that it's lengthwise behind you. And we're going to take the soles of the feet together and the knees open wide. Now you don't have to use blocks under the knees here, but I might advise you to, even if you practice butterfly fairly often and feel comfortable in the hips, to let the knees open without them, because in restorative it's all about taking support, allowing ourselves to be supported to make life and our practice a little bit easier. So the soles of your feet will come together. Place your blocks under your knees, and if you're used to butterfly, you can just take it at the lowest setting, maybe midway along your calves and up your thighs. And we're going to lay back here, really letting the spine lengthen along the bolster. Allowing your head to be the last thing that falls. And then stretch your arms out beside you, not as far as a T shape, but maybe just diagonally towards the base of your mat. And then open your palms up towards the ceiling here. Really inviting in a sense of openness and receptivity here. Sending your breath to your heart. Maybe softening the muscles around your jaw, your eyes, your forehead. Letting your breath be natural, but maybe seeing if you can deepen your breath just a little bit, being a little bit more intentional with your inhales and exhales. Leaning into the stillness here. There's nowhere you have to be, nothing you have to do. Just allow yourself to rest, relax. Feeling that soft openness in your heart and across the front of your body. taking one more full breath in. And letting it go. Now very slowly move out of this pose. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe take a big stretch up overhead if you'd like. Drawing your knees together, softly rolling over to one side. Make your way up to a seat. And now we're going to move into that supported legs up the wall. So get your blocks out of the way. Reorient yourself next to your wall. And then I want you to bring your bolster up against the wall so that the longest part of your bolster is flush with the wall, or your window in my case. So then we're going to bring ourselves to sit up on the bolster and then swing your legs up so that your heels are on the wall. Takes a little bit of maneuvering at first. It's not very graceful, but that's okay. So your heels are against the wall. Maybe flex your feet open towards the ceiling for a moment. And if you need, you can use your elbows to help you scooch in a little bit closer. You should feel really supported and really stable here. You can allow your hands to stretch out open towards the sides, maybe in that T shape. Just taking a few moments here to settle in, get comfortable. And then closing your eyes. Let the back of your neck be relaxed. Maybe drawing your chin in towards your chest just a little bit. Already starting to feel the blood reverse its direction. Water falling back in towards the center of your body. I often tell people if there's only one yoga pose to do every day, it's this one. This is a really great pose before you go to bed. Maybe to help you center and relax in the middle of a work day. Now, oftentimes we think that if we want to care for ourselves and relax, we have to take these big, long, intricate practices, but sometimes just one pose, 5 minutes a day, can make all the difference. And very gently begin to bend your knees, bringing your feet against the wall. Maybe drawing your knees in towards your chest. We'll roll over softly to one side. Be very gentle, very slow. Come up off of the bolster. Arriving back down on the mat. Maybe just taking a moment here, sitting back on your heels and feeling the effects of that pose. It's a very powerful one. Now we'll move into one of my favorite postures. This is a supported twist, bringing your bolster back still lengthwise behind you. And this time we're going to bring our right hip up to the short edge of the bolster and stagger your knees so that both knees are pointed towards your left side. It should form this sort of zigzag shape here where your right foot is rested on your left knee. Now with this pose here too, we're going to twist towards the back of your mat and eventually lay your belly down on the bolster. But just like with our child's pose, if you find the bolster is too far away, it's too difficult, too much tension in your hips, you can elevate the bolster with your blocks to help bring it a little bit closer to you. But when you're ready, whatever version, whatever height of the bolster you're taking, use your palms pressing into your hands to lift up through your chest and then lay your belly down. Now for the full variation of this twist, you're going to look in the opposite direction of your knees. So taking your left cheek to the mat here. If that's too much for your neck, you can just gaze towards the right in the same direction of your neck. Settling in where it feels good. Allowing your whole chest to be supported. And once again, just closing your eyes, breathing deeply. Now slowly press into your hands, lifting your chest. Bring your gaze back to neutral and walk your shoulders back above your hips. We're just going to switch sides here. Coming through center, now bringing your left hip to the short edge of the bolster, finding that same stagger in your knees. Using your hands to help twist and open up towards the back here. And laying your belly down. Now I want you to take your gaze in the opposite direction as you did the first time, whether you were gazing towards or away from your knees. Just repeat that on this side. Feeling all the tension or tightness along your spine sort of wringing out with this pose here. And as you exhale, maybe clearing away all of that stuck, tense, heavy energy. Begin to rise, untwist, feeling that release along the back body. And from here, we're coming into our Shavasana, and I invite you to make it as restorative as you can. I'm going to bring my bolster sideways underneath my knees, so perpendicular to my mat. I'm also going to grab another small bolster here for my head. You could also just use a pillow if you have one. Maybe taking a blanket, placing it over your body or over your hips for just a little bit of extra weightedness. You could also place an eye pillow over your eyes here if you have one. Letting your hands rest either on your belly, down by your sides, palms facing up towards the sky. Closing your eyes and just resting here. One more full deep breath. And letting it go. Reaching out through your toes, stretching back up behind you, taking a big full stretch. As if you're waking up for the first time today. We'll very slowly roll over to one side, making your way up to a comfortable seat. Keeping your eyes closed, bowing your chin in towards your chest. Let's draw our hands up to heart center. We'll close with the sound of one Om together. Inhaling to chant. I thank you so much for your practice. Namaste.